warlords. And let's not forget the shadowy role of intelligence agencies, which is one of the root causes of creating conflicts where none existed. They're very good at creating new conflicts. For example, it has provided false evidence to justify new wars, like the war in Iraq in 2003, started on the false existence of weapons of mass destruction. I'm going to move on to some solutions of these conflicts. As I said, and I'm going to rule out the military involvement, which is counterproductive. And the solutions I'm going to talk about are Arab League Initiative for Peace, the role of US in brokering peace, and learning and applying lessons from the history of Northern Ireland conflict. So, the Arab Peace Initiative, which was endorsed by the Arab League in Beirut in March 2002 and initiated by then Crown Prince Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, is an extraordinary document that requires all Arab countries to normalize relations with Israel in return for comprehensive Arab-Israel peace. The plan offers full recognition of Israel, but only if it returned fully to the June 4, 1967 lines, a just solution for Palestinian refugees. And this plan, by the way, has the support of the United States and should be the basis for negotiations. Let me move on to the role of US in brokering peace. The attempts of successive US presidents, including the present Obama administration, to bring peace are laudable but questionable. The reason being, attempts to bring peace in the region can be only genuine if US stop funding Israel and its allies with the latest high-tech weapons, which they are doing per year to the tune of 3 to 5 billion. And, however, it needs to be an honest peace broker who can bring results, inclusive peace approach. But if they're having military exercises, training armies in the region, spreading chaos in the region, bombing the so-called terrorists with drone, unmanned aerial vehicle attacks, then peace can hardly be part of their agenda. Now I'm going to move on to my last solution, which is learning from and applying lessons from the Northern Ireland peace process. Let me give you a little background. The 1998 Northern Ireland Peace Agreement, or what is famously called the Good Friday Agreement, was achieved because all parties had come together. The UK, the Irish, the US, all them worked together for a genuine power sharing by nationalists and unionists backed up with appropriate political institutions and reforming provisions on decommissioning, policing, human rights, and prisoner release. So, these lessons are not universal, and they, by no means, one-size-fits-all solutions. However, these are increasingly applied by prime ministers, presidents, diplomats, intelligence agencies to numerous areas of violence conflicts. So what should we be doing in the Middle East? What they did in Northern Ireland, but first of all, immediate ceasefire so that violence stops, because infighting been going on for over 60 years. Start negotiations with all parties in conflict, including with your sworn enemies, in a trusted manner. Agreement for a two-state solution in which Palestinian statehood is recognized and Israel's rights to to its identity to exist acknowledged. And a realization of Israelis that they cannot kill all Palestinians, can they? Like the Nazis could not obliterate the Jews. So they have to live together in the region. Agreement, this is very important, very essential. Agreement for equitable sharing of scarce resources in the area, which is oil, water, food, land, etc. And like in the Northern Ireland, we need strong leaders and communities to develop trust together, with the other side coexisting. Genuine efforts at prisoner release and decommissioning. And another of my ideas is setting up a Israeli-Arab council to settle differences instead of resolving them on the battlefield. And of course, the area needs backing of international community for peace process and funding for economic development. And my last on this one is no rigid preconditions for achieving the objectives of political process. These are some of the solutions and lessons, I must say, are not utopian because they have been applied in different conflicts all over the world. Let me give you an example. For centuries, in my home country of India, we live and have lived peacefully with 180 million Muslims, the third biggest population in India, and 4 of our presidents of a 80% Hindu country have been Muslims. So that kind of a thing we need in Middle East to resolve the conflict in Middle East. People of different faith and communities in various parts of the world have lived together. So we need to do that. I'm going to close my today's presentation by saying that for too long, scramble for resources like oil, water, food, etc., and greed-driven agenda have been allowed to go on causing violence, death, and destabilizing millions from homes throughout the greater Middle East. And as I said in the beginning, the cost of all this global violence, according to the Global Peace Index 2013, is 9.8 trillion, 11% of the global domestic product. And I said before, $1,350 per person, to put it in perspective. To bring peace in the region, all the regional powers in the area should join together for dialogue and diplomacy. They should follow policies of reason and sanity as once were adopted by visionary leaders of Europe, thus giving continent of Europe 70 years of peace envied across the globe. We don't appreciate in Europe, we have had a continued peace for 70 years, which we never had it. We were always at war with each other, Germany with France, France with UK, etc. And now, for the first time, we are continued peace for 70 years. In conclusion, let us make a firm resolve from today's conference to end violence, wars, and militarism. Let us work towards lasting peace in Middle East and North Africa. Let us make peace, security, and prosperity a reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vijay. And now Mr. Nadeem Chibbar is going to tell us a bit about Mr. Yasser bin Humran, and then Mr. Humran will speak to us.
Good evening, everybody. Right, I'd like to give you a little CV about Mr. Yasser bin Humran. It's just a brief CV. so we know who the campaigner is and where is he coming from. Yasir bin Humran, or Yasir bin Ali bin Humran, is a member of a largest family, well known and famous, who are involved in a business across the Saudi Arabia, in trading gold for over half century. He studied in 19th in the different schools, especially in Switzerland. He studied even in the summer camp. Politics is his hobby, and he's wish the peace for all human beings on this earth planet. He is a member of International Organization of Human Rights. He is also very committed to his business within, inside and outside of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which the family has inherited from the father to son. He's graduated from the King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah in field of business administration and economic. He's still doing his study in a master's degree. He is Yasir bin Humran, the campaigner. This is a little CV, and thank you very much indeed.
In the name of God,